Hello and welcome to the Mooncake Bakery. Today we're going to learn how to make orange cake with cardamom whipped cream. We're going to start by making an orange syrup. For the orange syrup, you'll need 83 ml of fresh orange juice followed by 100 grams of granulated sugar and 166 ml of water. Before we start making our syrup, we'll start by preheating our oven at 200 degrees Celsius. So, we'll start by adding water to a saucepan, followed by orange juice and our granulated sugar. We're going to boil the mixture and then we're going to cool it down and bring it to room temperature. Make sure it is cold. Now, let's start with our orange cake. For the orange cake, you'll need 2 oranges for the zest, melted butter. Make sure your butter is melted but cold. Then we'll need 126 grams of whole eggs. Then we'll need 125 grams of sugar, a pinch of salt, Amul fresh cream 74 grams and 24 grams of limoncello, followed by 132 grams all-purpose flour and 2 grams of baking powder. Okay, let's start. We'll take all of our sugar and we're going to zest our oranges directly into the sugar. Make sure not to zest the white parts. Once we're done zesting, we're going to use our fingers to nicely rub all the orange zest and sugar together. This will ensure that you get maximum orange flavor. Now, we'll start by adding our eggs to the bowl of a stand mixer. I'm going to use a whisk and I'm going to lightly whisk them until they're just about combined. Now, we're going to transfer it to a stand mixer. I'm going to start by whipping the eggs on low speed. Then, I'll just start by adding my orange sugar little by little. I'm going to whip it until it's light in color and has a ribbon-like consistency. Once you have the desired consistency, I'm going to add in my cream and limoncello. At this point, I'm also going to change the whisk to a paddle attachment. Now I'm going to add in my dry ingredients, that is the flour and the baking soda. Make sure that you sift your flour nicely and mix it properly with the baking soda to ensure even baking. Next, I'm going to add in my melted butter and I'm going to give it one final mix just to make sure everything is nicely mixed. I'm going to use a spatula to scrape the sides and the bottom to make sure there are no flour pockets. I'm going to use melted butter to coat the pan. Make sure you get into every single corner. Once that's done, I'm going to use some dry flour to coat the pan. This will ensure that the cake releases nicely after it's done baking. Once that's done, I'm going to spoon my batter into the pan. I'll be using the whole batter. Now, once that's done, I'm going to use soft butter in a piping bag to create a line on the top. This will ensure that the cake splits nicely and clearly on the top. Now, we'll bake the cake at 200 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes and then lower the temperature to 160 degrees Celsius and cook it for another 20 minutes. Do not open the door in between. Now, we'll pour our orange syrup straight onto the cake out of the oven. Make sure your cake is hot and your syrup is very nice and cold. Make sure to reserve 1/4 of the orange syrup for next morning. Immediately, I'm going to demold the cake and I'm going to wrap it up in cling wrap while it's still warm. This will ensure that the cake stays moist for longer time. Once you're done with wrapping the cake, I'm going to store it in the fridge overnight. Once the cake is done, we're going to work on a whipped cream. For the whipped cream, you're going to need 10 crushed pods of cardamom. Make sure they're nicely crushed. Followed by 200 grams of pre-sweetened whipped cream. I'm going to add the pods into the cream, going to mix it nicely, and I'm going to let them sit overnight in the fridge to infuse. Next morning, we're going to remove the pods from the cream. You can also use a sieve to make this process easier. Next, I'm adding a drop of green food color. You can avoid it if you want. Now, we'll start whipping our cream. You're going to whip it until you have a nice cloud-like consistency, basically soft peaks like shown in the video. Now, we'll start with the cake. You'll start by unwrapping the cake and then we're going to cut it into slices. The thickness of the slices depend upon what you like. I'll be cutting them into 1.5 centimeter thick. Now, you can change it if you want to. Keep it as thick or thin as you want. Next, we'll take a moment to appreciate the beautiful crumb of our cake. Now, we'll start plating. Simple. We're just going to place a piece of cake and then we're going to use our leftover syrup to just coat it a little bit on top. This will make sure that your cake has extra moisture. Once the syrup is done, we're going to take our whipped cream. I'm just going to take a spoon of cream and I'm going to put it on top of the cake. Now for the decoration, we're going to dust a little bit of cardamom powder on top. Then we're going to add a small slice of orange and a cardamom pod. And that's it. Delicious cardamom and orange cake is ready. Bye.